Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Wanted to do a short video today on the current energies that we're experiencing. So today is May 16th and I received a message about what's happening on the planet right now to many of us, so I wanted to jump on and share it. So this may resonate with you and it may not resonate with you. It just depends on the kind of physical symptoms you may be experiencing. So here's what my guides told me. Today, yesterday, and perhaps another day or two going forward, there is an intense, energetic blast of light that's coming down from the sun. And this blast of light is almost like a portal that has opened. And the amount of light and its intensity is so extreme, meaning that it is spinning so much faster than normal. And there is so much more of it coming down onto the planet and into the human vessel that it's as if we are experiencing another dimensional field almost. That's the intensity of the light coming down. And so what's happening to a lot of us is the normal sort of ascension symptoms that we feel, which is this ride we've been on, right, of these highs and lows, feeling really good, feeling really low, having a lot of different physical symptoms like eating a lot, not eating a lot, sleeping a lot, not sleeping a lot, irritable, super excited and happy, in the flow, completely unaligned, right, this back and forth. Which is just the natural process of ascension. But what's happening right now during this portal is that it's intensified. So the experiences that we're used to experiencing have intensified, gotten more intense. And so if you are feeling super lethargic, foggy, you can't think, you feel like you want to move into a cave, cocoon up, work is kind of hard to do, any sort of daily functioning is kind of hard to do, grocery shopping, thinking, being around other humans can feel very draining. Your fuse is really short, perhaps. So every little thing is making you irritated. And you're needing to sleep for much longer periods of time. And the sleep patterns are not normal, so you're not getting a normal night's sleep, perhaps. You may be having hot flashes or cold flashes. Whatever it is that you normally intake for food may be really wacky. The reason I wanted to share this, and the reason my guides woke me up out of my nap I was taking today for 3 hours out of the blue, because I was exhausted, was they wanted me to remind all of you that you are not these experiences. You are not lazy. You are not an irritated person. You are not someone that can't get their work done. You are not someone that doesn't have the capability of engaging and being with other humans. You are not these experiences. And what happens to us is when we experience things like needing to sleep a lot, we all of a sudden beat ourselves up. Like, I shouldn't need to sleep, or there's something wrong with me that I want to take a nap right now and not do what I'm supposed to be doing with my family or my friends, right? I don't want to go exercise. I want to sleep. Well, that's not okay. You need to be exercising, or you need to be doing these certain things. I don't really feel like eating the fish and the vegetables. I feel like eating a big fat burger. Well, you're not supposed to be eating a big fat burger. All the things that we put, these boxed programs that we put on ourselves to make ourselves feel so horrible about the natural process of ascension. This is all a very behind the scenes natural process, ascending. And you remember this when you dropped into physical form, you're just remembering, you forgot, right? So what happens is the physical form is the last part of us that is anchoring in the light. And so when we get these massive jolts of light like we are right now, it is the physical form that has the most intense experiences with it, because it is the densest part of us. And so the densest part of us is having to acclimate these super high frequencies. The light inside of us, right, that's already vibrating at a pretty high frequency, can grasp, can allow that light to come in and start to move with it, right? Integrate with it. The physical form gets blown away. It's like, holy cow, this is a big burst of light and energy. And the physical form then reacts the way it needs to react in order to be able to slowly assimilate and acclimate more of the light. And the reason this is happening is because in order to move into the next dimensional field, which most of us that are watching this video are doing, in order to anchor into that field, which is first the fourth and then the fifth, in order to anchor into it, and anchoring means that you are in that field constantly. So the up and down is not in a third dimensional field anymore. The up and down ascension is between the fourth and the fifth dimensional field because you've anchored into the fourth. So you're no longer experiencing the third dimension. Okay. Once you anchor into the fourth, you no longer go back and experience a lower dimensional field. In order for you to anchor into that field, your physical form has to be able to hold that frequency, the fourth dimensional frequency, which is different than the third dimensional frequency. And so what is happening in these major massive flares of energy from the sun, right, that we get to shift us quicker, is the physical form saying, holy cow, wait a second, I need to rest. I need a big fat greasy burger, or I need to eat absolutely nothing. Please just feed me water and drink green drinks, right? Or I can't function with numbers or the phone or a computer. I need to literally just sit in a cocoon. Or when I engage my physical form with other humans, my physical form, which is an energetic being that's trying to acclimate and assimilate higher frequencies, my form is agitated by all the other energies. I don't want to experience other energies right now. That's why you want to cocoon a lot or move into a cave-like feeling, because your own energetic field is super sensitive at this time. It's super duper sensitive because there's so much light that's being moved down into the physical form, and the physical form is trying to hold it and acclimate to it, that when you move out, you can imagine that you're just more sensitive. There's just a sensitivity to you that you don't normally have. So that means that you're going to yell at somebody that you don't mean to, or you're going to honk at someone that you don't mean to, or you don't even want to have a conversation with anyone. Please don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you right now, right? Those kinds of things. So the importance of why I'm sending this video out right now on May 16th is because we are in a portal of really high intensity frequency light that's moving into the physical form. And it's okay, whatever you're experiencing, you're not the experience. You're just experiencing ascension. You're experiencing the ascending process. Remember how this works, okay? Your physical form is just going to do its best to try to get you to that next dimensional field to anchor you in. Now, the other piece about this that is important to remember is everybody is going to experience, not everybody, but we are all going to experience this in different ways, meaning depending upon what frequency and vibration your body is already at. When these big solar portal flares come down, if you're already at a pretty high frequency and your physical form is at a pretty high frequency, then when these flares come in, these portals of really high intense energy, you may not feel them as intensely as somebody else that may be vibrating at a little bit lower frequency, right? So what I'm sharing with some of you isn't really going to resonate. It's like, no, I didn't feel any of this. What is she talking about? That's okay. It just means that your frequency is at a different vibration than mine. My frequency is at a vibration and my form is at a vibration where I got knocked the heck out the last 24 hours, crashed, and also really incapable of doing any sort of work at all. So, and not wanting to have a conversation, just feeling like I'm in the world, but not really participating, right? Like I see all you guys, I'm in my yoga class. I could barely do my yoga class. I had no energy to do my yoga class. And I didn't want to talk, right? You know, that feeling where you're just like, I just want to do what I came here to do and leave. I don't even have the energy to have conversation. You're just kind of moving about really slowly. That's where I was at. And there's other people that may not even have any impact on this, these portals. And there may be people that are having even more intense experiences physically than me, right? There's no right or wrong, good, bad about what frequency you're at and how you experience this huge portal of intense light that's coming in right now. The point is that if you are experiencing it, it's okay. You are not the experience. I am not the lazy person that didn't want to do my yoga class, right? I'm not. I'm just somebody that is consciously aware of the fact that I am a light being in physical form that is acclimating and assimilating more and more light. My physical form is doing its best, and my God, today it needs to rest. That's not me. I am not a lazy person. My physical form is doing what it needs to do. So the more you can remember, because these massive flashes of light, these portals of light coming in are going to get more intense. And I said this a couple months ago in a video. It's only going to get more intense because we're shifting faster and we're shifting. And in order to shift faster, you have to get more light. You have to get more palpable light, more intense light. And that means that the physical form is going to have to catch up. Let's go, body. Let's do this, right? So this is going to continue. This is not going to stop. So please remember when you start to feel a little bit off in a more intense way, right? Because a lot of us are used to this back and forth, up and down. But when you start to feel a little bit more intensity of it, just try to remind yourself that it is the physical body perhaps assimilating more light, right? And acclimating it. Now, there's a lot of people that always ask the question, well, what about the person, the normal Joe Schmo that's just like living a very normal life that doesn't understand the ascension process? The light is still coming down on them, right? But they are at a frequency and a vibration where it's going to impact them in a very different way. Their awareness and consciousness isn't on that light. And one of the main necessities for ascension in order to really accelerate it is, yes, it's a natural process, and yes, it's going to happen no matter what. But if you are conscious of what's going on, if you're aware of what's happening, it becomes more intense. Awareness, remember, awareness brings your awareness to what's going on, which brings it out to you, which makes it seem more intense. Right? And so when you are aware of your ascension process, you become like a detective or like a scientist, and you're watching it and observing it and dissecting it and doing all these things with it, right? And you're participating with the ascension process. The normal Joe Schmo that may or may not ever shift into a fourth dimensional field or fifth dimensional field, it all depends on what they agreed to do when they dropped into physical form. Remember, just because there are humans on the planet that are ascending, just because the earth is ascending and already has ascended into the fourth and fifth dimension, just because all this is happening doesn't mean that every single human has to jump on board and do it. They don't. They have a unique individual light being that dropped in that may or may not have agreed to move in through the ascension process. They may have just chosen a really fabulous life, and they're not going to shift into the fourth dimensional field or fifth dimensional field. It's choice. The third dimension doesn't go anywhere. Just because we anchor into the fourth dimension and then we anchor into the fifth, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden whoever's in the third dimension dies or dissolves. This is what the quantum field means. When you're in a third dimensional field and you stay in that third dimensional field, then you're in a third dimensional field. If you can anchor into a fourth dimensional field, then all of a sudden your entire reality is a fourth dimensional field. And then when you anchor into a fifth dimensional field, you are experiencing a very different reality than this. And Earth is already holding and anchored into a fourth dimensional field and a fifth dimensional field. And so what will start to happen is that there will be different sort of dimensional fields that you can tap into and experience that becomes a reality. It's a quantum space, so it's a little bit challenging to understand. But anyways, the point is that there are humans that are not going to move through the ascension process, but are they still receiving light? Yeah, there's still a huge amount of light that's coming down on everything. The light just comes straight down. It doesn't say, oh, I'm going to choose this person and this person, and this person, this person. But what happens is if you are not, if your light being is not here to assimilate and shift, then the light that's coming in is it's almost like it's just filtering straight through. You know, it's like it just comes in and it's like how do I explain this? Like you know, when you pour pasta into a drain, you know, and the pasta sticks there, but the water just goes right through. So imagine the pasta being the physical bodies, and as the light is the water, right? So as the light comes in, it just goes right through. Maybe there's some things that shift for people, but it all is based on what that human's choice was, or not even that human, what that light being's choice was when they dropped into the physical form. So it's all a choice. And because there's infinite possibilities in any now moment, the being of light that may have chosen not to go through the process of ascension may change their mind and decide halfway through their experience on earth that they want to now go through the ascension process. This is from a much bigger perspective. This is not from the ego and the mind, okay? But from a much higher perspective, the light being decides, oh, let's try that. Let's do this. And then starts to shift into moving into that process. And when you start to decide from a bigger perspective that you're going to start to shift, then your whole system becomes alert and starts to access the light that's coming in and starts to do what it is designed to do. And that body starts to ascend, right? So it's choice. So even though all this light's coming in, not every single human being out there is going to move. Now, every single human being has the ability to. Not only does their physical form have the ability to, but they themselves as a light being has the ability to. So it's choice. It's always choice. Everything's choice on this earth plane. We have free will. That's what free will is. It's choice. So again, the point, I don't know why I went off on that tangent. The point is that if you are, whatever it is you're experiencing as physical symptoms right now, you're not the physical symptoms, okay? You are just experiencing those physical symptoms. And the more you can get acutely aware of what's going on, the less judgment you'll have. So the more you understand what's going on, the more you remember what's going on, almost like you're reading a science book. And you're like, oh my God, I remember all of this. This makes so much sense. The less you're going to judge, and the less you're going to fall into duality. You're going to move into a place of observing and being in a neutral space. Like, oh, I'm just doing this. I just need this. I'm just craving this. And the reason that's so important is because you no longer are beating yourselves up and making this such a huge struggle, right? And this is not including emotional and belief, the emotions and beliefs that are coming up. This jolt of energy right now that is coming through, at least for me, is feeling very physical. It feels like very physical symptoms. And it feels like it's designed to really shift the physical form and not the light inside of us. Meaning, there are a lot of jolts of light that we receive that when it comes in, it really pushes through a lot of the emotions, the emotional body and the physical, and the emotional body and the mental body. I'm really tired right now. That's why my thoughts are all over the place. But when the light comes in, it's designed to filter through the emotional body and the mental bodies more than perhaps the physical body. But this intense light is strictly designed to, because of how intense it is really designed to penetrate and activate the physical form, right? And so there may be emotional the emotional body may be getting disturbed a little bit, meaning there may be, those emotions that are coming up again, or the beliefs and thoughts that are coming up again. But this is really a lot about the physical body anchoring in more light. And so there's a lot more physical symptoms you're going to be feeling intensely right now. So be gentle on yourself. Remember that you are not what you are experiencing. You are just experiencing the ascension process, which is what you came down here to do. You came down here to do this, and don't forget what this actually is, okay? I've said this before, but here is what it actually is. It is a physical form, your physical form, and the light that's inside of you and the light being inside of you, shifting into higher states of consciousness, higher frequencies to anchor in the fourth dimension, and then to anchor in the fifth dimension, all while staying and remaining inside a physical form. It's a miracle. It's miraculous. It's never been done in terms of consciousness at this low of a rate. This low of a consciousness has never shifted within a dense physical form the way we're doing it. Okay, so this is a miracle, and it's magic what's happening. And it's a gift to be able to experience and go through it, even though it doesn't feel like it. The only reason why it doesn't feel like it is because we are in a matrix that makes us think that this is all there actually is. And there isn't. This is just one layer of so many other layers of reality that we can't see yet because we're not vibrating at that frequency yet. So we are literally doing something that has never been done by consciousness before. We are very low, very slow in physical form, shifting in that physical form into the next dimension and then the next dimension. So take the weight off of yourself, take the pressure off of you, take the struggle off of you. What you're going through is natural. It's normal. You should be going through exactly what you're going through. If you were breezing through the ascension process, there'd be something seriously wrong with you. You are either already a Jesus, right, an ascended master, anchored into the fifth dimension, or you're in serious denial. Something funky's going on. So I love you guys so much. Wanted to keep this pretty short because I'm pretty exhausted. But I just wanted to share this because for those of you that are experiencing these physical symptoms, it's okay. You're okay. Keep going. Don't beat yourself up. You're loved. This is what they want me to share with you guys, that you're loved, you're okay. Hooray. Bravo. They kept saying bravo to me. Bravo, you're doing it. Bravo, you're doing it. As I'm laying on my couch for 3 hours. They're like, bravo, Lori, you're really allowing yourself to acclimate the light. And I'm like, bravo. They're like, yeah, this is great. This is great. This is great. So bravo to all of you. Whether you're experiencing these physical symptoms, experiencing some other symptoms, or not experiencing anything right now, bravo for being in a physical form, deciding to come down here at this time, to not only shift your own consciousness, but to shift the consciousness of the planet and humanity. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the video. If you liked it, please subscribe or hit the little thumbs up button. If there's anybody you think that would resonate with this, send it along. And I'll see you next time. Lots of love.